Welcome. My name is Heather Levitt Martinez, and I would like to invite you to a summer full of Lettering Tips Tuesdays, where we will be exploring each type of marker nib, including the round one, and that could be a number one round or a fine one round, the brush marker, again, that could be the art marker, number one art marker, or the fine one art marker, and the wedge marker, which mine just fell on the floor. And the wedge marker can be the number one or the big one or even the fat one. So wanted to let you know that you can dial in and I will answer your questions so that we can go deeper, but I'll be covering the basics here. And you should be looking for invitations in your inbox every week about an hour before we begin. And we're meeting at 9 o'clock Mountain Daylight Time. And you should be receiving emails in your inbox. If not, please go to letslettertogether.com and subscribe to my email newsletter, and that'll give you rights to join in on the calls. Please note that the calls will be open to the public for the basic calls and the freebie calls, but there will be some calls that will be just for those who subscribe to online courses like Architect, Sign Painter, Lettering with the Masters, Level Up, and more. I want to thank you for watching this video. I'm pre-recording it because, like you, I'm a visual practitioner who got a last-minute gig. And I know you know how it is, and I do too. That's why when you sign up for a one-to-one session for me, I have a very lenient cancellation policy. So I know that life and work sometimes get in the way. So if you've taken any one of my Level Up Your Lettering courses online or virtual in the last year, please know that you have through the end of summer to take advantage of your free follow-up one-to-one session. You can get on my calendar by going here. I'm going to put the link. It's go.oncehub.com/level-up-lettering. But please try to make that reservation right away, because at the end of August, I'm going to cut everybody off because I'm going to have a whole new slew of students coming in the fall. And I have very limited time this summer because I'll be building all kinds of online courses for you. So get on my calendar as soon as possible. If you haven't taken any of the Level Up courses, but you want to schedule a session, you can do this. You can use this same link to reserve a 1-hour session for $125. So let's get to lettering, shall we? Have you ever wondered if you're holding the marker correctly? Well, that's a bit of a trick question because it depends on the lettering style that you are writing. We will cover how to improve your handwriting for rapid capture, brush lettering for emphasis, writing big titles, and more. And I'll be referencing my new book, Lettering Journey, and some of the lettering styles, where to buy it, and what comes with it. So please mark your calendars and join us live on Thursday, June 27th for the virtual book launch and party. When I say we, I mean all of you, and with Zandra Dirks. She is the Neuland social media correspondent. Would you like a sneak peek of the book? I have an advanced review copy right here. So in fact, I have two, but the other one will be revealed on the 27th. So the lettering journey includes 7 new lettering styles. Let me get to the table of contents here. We've got 7 new lettering styles. I do mention Architect because it's such a great lettering style for handwriting. It was inspired on my big trip. And also it's great for scaling up and down. So each chapter starts with a short excerpt about what inspired the lettering style. Where was I at the time? I also recommend what markers to use, the attributes of that lettering style, so you can really hold on to that as you're lettering, and also when to use it. Are you going to use it for readability? Is it really about emphasis? Is it going to give you the wow factor? This is great for titles. And is it fast and easy or slow and involved? What's it going to take in order to letter like this? And then is it appropriate for sketch notes, graphic recording, or studio work? And it's just a quick reference on each chapter so that you can flip through and say, oh, I think this is easy enough. Just as an easy reference, you can tell yourself this is easy enough to learn this lettering style just in a few minutes and start lettering. And then at the end of each chapter, I feature visual practitioners who have learned, because I beta tested all of these lettering styles before I wrote the book, have used the lettering styles in their work. And so they learned these lettering styles from me, and then they submitted examples of your work. So throughout the book, you'll see there are icons, and let me find one here. Oops, go back to the beginning. There are little icons throughout the book that'll tell you maybe there's a video that accompanies this particular page, or maybe there's a download, a free download that you would need, like a template, in order to make your lettering a little bit easier. So these instructional videos, there's going to be some free that will come with a class that I'll be offering. It's actually like an online portal called Lettering Journey Resources. And then there will be a Lettering Journey Express, which is also, it's a paid course where you will get step-by-step instructions on how I create each letter. And it's a great complement to the book, and it can also be a standalone if you don't want the book, but the book is a great reference guide. And if you notice, I'm writing a lot of the letters with grayscale so that you can see where the strokes intersect, and then also a ductus, which means it tells you which lines to draw in which order and what direction they should go in. And that's going to be different for left-handers, and I have a little note in there for lefties as well. So in a moment, I'm going to show you some lettering tips on how to add emphasis to any lettering style. But before I do, I'd like you to make a list of markers to bring with you next week when we letter together in Be Fine with the Fine Ones and other round nib markers. So be sure to bring your Neuland Fine Ones, your number one. So this is a number one. And when I say your fine ones, I mean your fine ones with the round nib, also known as the bullet nib, round marker. You can also use a sketch one or any other kind of monoline tool or pen or pencil. And we're really going to be just going over some lettering styles that work great with monolines. If you'd like to check out a few free online courses, make sure you follow me. Actually, why don't I go ahead and share my desktop with you so that you can check out the website. Here at letslettertogether.com, right at the very top, you can grab your markers and click there. That's the free lettering course, Unlock Your Neuland Markers. Sign Painter is really one of my favorite lettering styles, and it's part of my Level Up course. This is the curriculum. This is my current lettering curriculum. I built it about 2 years ago, and it's still true today. I've added a few other online courses and will continue to. You can also find your Unlock Your Neuland markers here. So anytime you go to the website and you find a course, you can click a button and it'll take you right to that course, give you a little bit of a description, and you can click to register. And all that asks you for is your email address and what's next. And if that's a free course, if it's a paid course, you can add your credit card at that space. You can also sign up for my virtual lettering sessions here. It'll take you to the page so that you can get on my calendar and pay for that. Again, Sign Painter, very popular. And Lettering with the Masters. Now, this was really the flagship lettering course where I've invited 12 masters in lettering, whether they work in our field, calligraphers, graffiti artists, and you can both purchase the entire full year on this website, or you can go to gumroad.com/corp graffiti art, where I have a page of all kinds of goodies, including single session downloads for Lettering with the Masters. Those are $30 each. So if you just want one or two, if you want more than that, then I suggest getting the year long because there's a great savings there. I've got some other pictures, some other downloads, including a spooky font, scary lettering style, my apologies, brush tip, appreciative inquiry forms, Neuland Hand 2.0, and I even came up with a typewriter font that I created using my typewriter. So you can download that on your computer as well. My exemplar from UViz and a video that you can stream if you could hear about the experience that I had there, and even more Lettering with the Masters. You can purchase the How to Letter Like a Sign Painter zine. It is the instruction booklet that you can either purchase with or without the video, the online video. And then the ABC XYZ enamel pins, those are limited. I only have a few of those left. I don't know if I will be creating any more of those. So you can go to Gumroad Goodies for that. I'm sorry, gumroad.com/corporate graffiti art, corporate graffiti art. And then same with Facebook, I have a lot of free resources here as well. So if you go to facebook.com/corporate graffiti artist, all spelled out, you can go to my events page, and there you're going to see a summer of lettering tips Tuesdays. This is full of the descriptions. Just note that some of the descriptions will change according to the dates. We'll still meet every Tuesday right here. But also coming up, I have a art show that I'm showing at a local gallery. I have a Let's Letter Together. This is my local signature course for brush lettering for teens and adults. And then I'm also teaching an art career theorem workshop. Other events will also include my performance at the Cortez Literary Festival, and also I'm teaching at the Cortez Library in August. So those are some of the online resources that you have access to and are welcome to access anytime. They're really great if you want to sit down and practice, but not quite sure what you'd like to practice. Now, a few quick tips on how to bring emphasis to any lettering style with just a few adjustments. So grab your favorite markers. I don't care which ones they are. I'll be using all of them to show, all the different nibs to show you. And let me pin my video. You should be able to see my hands and the hand lettering learning pad. I really like this hand lettering learning pad because it allows me to use the lines here to practice, which has made me much better at lettering. It's helped me be more consistent, not only in writing on a straight line, but also my spacing. And when it comes to brush lettering and things like that, it's just so much better. I'm going to use this nice juicy art marker here to show you a technique. If you're just drawing regular, and this is sort of my regular, sort of a hodgepodge between sign painter and my regular lettering style. But if you'd like to make something bold, there's a technique in Unlock Your Neuland Markers called double stroke first stroke, which means I'm making the very first stroke that I create, I do it double. So it automatically makes that bold. It also works really great with brush lettering. So any of your downstrokes, and we know it's thick down, thin up. So this goes thin up and then thick down. I would do a double stroke on any of the downstrokes. And this is the fastest, easiest way to create thick lettering just by adding a double stroke. Now, that's your double stroke first stroke. If you are working large, say with a big one, there are two ways that I like to, and I'll start up here. There are two things that I like to do to vary up my lettering style if I'm working, say, Neuland hand. Using the wide edge of the marker here, I can do what's called an extended, meaning I'm going to draw really wide. This is much wider than regular Neuland hand, going all the way across. So using that broad edge of that wide marker, I'm going to really make extend and stretch out my letters. But say I wanted to use the same marker, but I wanted to go with something narrow. I could go tall and narrow with my letters by just using the broad edge of the tip of the nib, right? So this tip right here, but pointed down to make very narrow, tall letters. Remember when you're writing large on the wall, that spacing can be really important. So the further away, if you want someone to be able to read it from far away, you'll want to put a lot of space between your letters. If you're not really worried about them reading it from far away, say that you're writing, your regular capture style, it's going to be small anyway. They might not be able to see it. So spacing isn't as critical as long as it's legible. So we've got bold, we've got extended, we've got this compressed lettering style going narrow. And then this next one, you might have seen me do this one because this is one of my very favorite ways to vary up any lettering style, is to vary up your X height. So just going over the different lines that are on this page, the thick line on this page is called your baseline. And this is where all of your letters sit. This top line up here, called your ascender line, that's where the letters that have ascenders or your capitals will go. This line down here, this is your descenders. So these are letters like lowercase g, p, and q. And then this middle part, which we call this the medium length or the X height, is any letter that doesn't have an ascender and doesn't have a descender fits within this space. So say I wanted to have a low X height. My X would be small. My H, if I'm going to write the word X height, is going to have a high ascender and a small area here where the rest of the letter lives. Same with the H, or the E and the I. And then the G, it's going to have the same descender. You can pre-decide how long those are going to be. And then high ascender, except for the T. And the T is special because we don't want to confuse the T with the L or the F, so it doesn't go all the way to the top. But say we wanted a high X height, keeping the same height of letters, but the X height is what changes, then they're going to be tall and narrow. And I'm going to draw them narrow in this case. You don't have to. They can be wide as well, but just tall X heights. But the reason why I'm doing it like this here is really just to conserve space. Notice my ascender stays the same, but it's that middle part of the letter that changes. And with the T, in this case, I'm going to put it between the X height and the ascender line, but I'm going to cross it at the X height. Okay, so let me show you some examples, and I'm just going to go this tall for capital letters. Say if you were drawing the letter A, and you wanted to play with trying to figure out what's going to look best if it's high, middle, or a low X height. And I have to say that I would not use this one because it crowds your counter space too much, and you might make a mistake and fill that in, and then it's not legible. So this one works, this one also works, and even if you were going to say change where your juncture is, again, dependent on the X height, meaning wherever you decide you would like your X height to be, your juncture, which is any two or more lines coming together, is called a juncture. On your B, it could be any one of these. Just be conscious that it's really about readability, right? So your R could be way up here, or it could be way down here, depending on the style that you would like to write. Just make sure that it's legible. For the most part, well, here in America, we read from left to right, top to bottom. So if you, high X heights are going to be much more readable, but I would change the A, I would make that probably a low X height. And whenever you're writing something like, say, an F, the difference between an E and an F is that for the F, for legibility's sake, you're going to make the counter spaces more equal so that it doesn't get confused with the E. So far you've learned double stroke, first stroke to make your letters bold. You've learned extended and compressed, and now the X height. So those are my three main ways that I can just vary up my lettering style on the fly. I get a lot of questions. My main question I've been getting lately is, what lettering styles do you use together, and how many lettering styles should I use in a graphic recording? And I like to tell people that it's really as easy as 1, 2, 3. And I have a formula. My go-tos are, and I'm going to go ahead and make a 4 nib width scale to show that this is what I usually write. I usually write Neuland hand using either big one or a fat one to do titles. So this is my go-to. I can whip this out so fast, and it's easy for me to remember. And remember, I showed you how to do extended letters and compressed letters. And then for the next level down, which is really architect or sign painter, this is really my rapid capture. So architect is my go-to if I want to go fast and I want things to be legible. But I also write in sign painter sometimes because it's stylistic. It's got some style to it. It's fast. It's got a rhythm to it. And it's because it's tilting forward. I'm using the brush marker. So that tends to be a pretty fast marker. And I use these two lettering styles, or sort of a mashup between the two, for my content. And a lot of times I also call that rapid capture. So when I'm really, really in a hurry, if I'm practicing this lettering style a lot or using it in a majority of my graphic recordings, and then all of a sudden I have to do something really fast, like take down all of the action items at the end of the meeting or something like that, then there'll be sort of a mashup between these two. But by practicing it, I've gotten much better. My handwriting has gotten better. So when it comes to rapid capture, it's going to actually look a lot nicer than most people in the room who are just writing really, really fast. And then the last lettering style that I use to really, and I don't always incorporate this, but if I want to show emphasis on something, bring some elegance to my charts, I'll use brush letter. And notice how slow I'm going here. In order for it to look this nice with this many curves, I've got to go slow. However, if I have to go fast and I happen to have this lettering, this particular marker in my hand, and sometimes I run into a meeting and I just need to draw welcome really fast, then what happens is my lettering style becomes a lot more sharp. It's not as curvy, but I want to make sure that it's legible, so I'll make a lot of really fast moves. And the key there is that it's really fast, just like a car, to go fast on the straightaways, but then slow down on the curves. And so just notice that if you want to write anything, these are really for emphasis. If you want to make something look elegant, this is going to be slower, and this is going to be sort of a fast version. And notice that other than the O and maybe the M here, these letters really don't connect, and they don't have to. But if you are going to connect your letters, I want you to notice that each time I brought my marker back up, it stopped in the middle here, and actually this one went higher to connect this S. So I'm really thinking about how are my letters going to connect. Again, with this U, I went all the way up and then came down. All right, so there are some quick ways to vary up your lettering styles, right? I hope you found this session helpful. For your next practice session, please consider the following. Focus on the letter form. Get a good exemplar. Study and notice how it feels to make the different kinds of strokes, and get the lettering style in your hand, as said by Carol Dubois, my mentor, and her teacher, Lloyd Reynolds. As a reminder of what we covered in this session, here are the highlights. To review, watch the free video series, Unlock Your Neuland Markers, and you can get $5 off Architect or Sign Painter. If you don't automatically get that email, just ping me and I'll make sure that you get the link, the coupon link. I believe that the coupon code is UNLOCK. Also, note, I will be updating these videos this summer. The Unlock Your Neuland Markers, what kit, there's a new kit coming. I'll be updating all of those videos in Unlock Your Neuland Markers. And to add emphasis to any lettering style, you can compress, extend, bold, or change up your X height. And I say use 1 to 3 lettering styles per chart. By doing a title size, a rapid capture, and emphasis, that's really going to help with your hierarchy too. And please mark your calendar so you can join me Thursday, June 7th, for the virtual book launch of Lettering Journey. And for next week's Lettering Tips Tuesday, be fine with the fine ones. So grab your round nib or monoline markers. See you next week, and hopefully all summer long, for Lettering Tips Tuesdays. Happy lettering. Bye.